We welcome you again. It is In My Backyard with Jenna and Jody. And this morning we're going to be talking a little bit about fermentation.
And we're going to be using some raw milk as we make a kefir smoothie. And the reason that we're talking today about fermentation and using the raw milk is that this is one of the things in your backyard that you can find locally. There are a lot of local farms that produce raw milk.
Right.
Now, what's the difference between raw milk and the milk I buy at the grocery store?
Okay, your milk has been pasteurized. Now, some of the milk that we can get locally has been pasteurized as well. I think Manning Hill Farm, they have their milk at Hannah Grimes, and theirs. In Hannaford, okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yep.
And they also have chocolate milk too.
That's good.
Yeah, but their milk has been pasteurized. But most of the raw milk, just straight raw milk, is straight from the cow, hasn't been pasteurized, has all of the good microorganisms in it. Some people feel that milk has to be pasteurized, so it all depends on who you talk with. But if you like raw milk, and
It's available.
I do. I know you have a slightly different opinion.
Yeah, I don't care for it so much, but
Yeah.
I think I'm going to like the smoothie that we make.
Yeah. And the thing that I like about the raw milk is, as you can see here, there's cream. And so you can see the milk here. I like milk. I grew up drinking milk. I like milk. So what we're going to do today, we're going to start off the show with showing people how to make a kefir smoothie. And this is my favorite, so I'm sharing it with you.
Really quickly, just have to back up a second. Where do you get the raw milk?
Oh, of course. You can go directly to the farms in most cases. This one here is from Flying Cloud. I know Stonewall Farm does raw milk, but I don't think that they can sell it right now. Things might change in the future. But if you just look around, you can go to...
Does Hannah Grimes sell any?
Yeah, Hannah Grimes sells the Flying Cloud, and they sell the Manning Hill Farm.
Okay.
But just look around and see. I'm sure that Blueberry Fields sells milk. There's all kinds of different places around. It's just a matter of finding the kind of milk that you want and deciding on how much you want to spend for it, because there's quite a range of costs.
Now, when we're making this kefir smoothie, do we need to use raw milk?
You don't have to use raw milk, but that's my preference.
Okay,
and
so we're going to use raw milk today.
Right.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the most out of this. This is what I drink in the morning. So when I drink my drink, that's what I'm having for the day.
Right.
Until I take a snack or something and then have lunch.
That's your breakfast.
It's my breakfast. And I'm really bad at having breakfast, so I couldn't sit down and have a cereal. So for me, what we do is we get up in the morning, we get all the ingredients together, make our smoothie, and go off and do what we need to do. So how we're going to start today is we're going to start with this little cup here. I've got this little machine here that's going to blend it for us. So we're going to start with this, this cup here. I start with a banana. And this is good for 1 or 2 people. Sometimes we drink the drink all by ourselves, and sometimes we split it, depending on the mood.
Raised banana.
This is not a locally raised banana, no. So what we're going to do is we put the banana in here, and I did wash my hands. We're going to use some raspberries. I like to use a lot of raspberries. These are frozen because it tastes really good and it makes it nice and cold. From there, I'm going to use some kefir, and as you'll see, it's got a different consistency than milk. It's
much thicker.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's like yogurt. It's just a little bit more thin. That's all. So here's the
you're
kefir.
right. It's exactly between milk and yogurt.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I would say.
Yeah. Because if you, well, I'll show you after, but you'll see what the difference is between the milk, the kefir, and the smoothie.
Is this some of your honey?
This is some of our honey. So we use about a tablespoon of honey as well. And that's just good for you. I mean, it sweetens it up, but you don't need the sugar.
Right, because there's so much in the raspberries and the banana.
Right. So we have that. And then what we also put in is a little flax powder.
Oh, that is so healthy.
It is. And I don't know if everybody knows, but with flax, the seeds will just go right through your system. So if you're eating flaxseed, yeah, it's good for you, but the coating on the outside of the flaxseed is so hard that you
can't digest it.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta grind them up. What I do, I don't have the powder at home. I have just whole flax seeds, and I blend them every time I make a smoothie. And they get chopped up. And
Yeah. So, and then I use this husk powder. It promotes regularity, but it also supports hearty health. So I use about a teaspoon or so of that and put that in there.
And
too.
these are all optional in terms of what you like. I mean, we could put blackberries, we could put
you could put mango, you could do whatever. And I think what I'll do is I'll use a little bit of this milk. I had some almond milk in the fridge, but I'm going to use this milk here. I think you'll be okay with this.
Yeah.
So just adding a little bit of milk, just so that it's not too thick, because what happens is if you make it and it's too thick, you're going to be drinking it or eating it like it's a soft ice cream instead.
Right.
So we have the cover here. Got all the ingredients.
Oh, I see. It's an upside down blender.
Right.
I got you. I was wondering how that was going to
work. Yep. So I just shake it a little bit, and this is going to be a little noisy, but so you can see it all mixing together. Okay, so what I find sometimes is that the banana doesn't mix, so that's why I might keep it on a little bit longer sometimes. But here we are, so you can see. Here we are with the smoothie. It did. So then, here's your smoothie.
Would this feed 2 of you?
Yes.
Ah.
Yep.
And that's all you have for breakfast?
That is what I have. But think about, I also have some vitamins that I'll take, but think about all of the good stuff that's in here.
Right.
You've got the fruit, you've got the banana, you've got the few additions, the raspberry, it's just everything
it's a whole meal.
It is. It's a lot of good nutrients, yeah.
Wow.
Is that great?
That is way better than the stuff that I get, at the store.
Yeah.
Because I'll buy kefir at the store. It's expensive.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you?
It's probably $5 or I think it's $4 or $5 to buy a quart size like this.
Yeah.
And this, like this kefir that I'm making here, this probably only cost me, 50 cents, and I'm going to get 4 or 5
So
meals
you're
out
going
of
to
it.
show me how to make this kefir so we can.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Yep.
And I can, again, I have to get my head around this. We don't have to use raw milk, but you absolutely can. Okay, gotcha.
It's all personal preference.
Great.
So I think what we'll do next is we will get this set up, maybe take a quick break. We'll get this set up to make some kefir, or to show you how it's made, and then we'll go on from there. Okay?
Yep.
So we'll be right back.
So now that I've had that delicious kefir smoothie that Jody made, she's going to show me how to make kefir from raw milk at home.
Right. So one of the things that I was thinking of is, what is the similarity between bees, kefir, and I'm going to bring a new word in, kombucha.
What's kombucha?
Kombucha is another fermented drink that I'll talk to you a little bit about.
Oh, okay. I have no idea.
Bees,
You mean
kefir, and
honeybees.
kombucha.
We're talking
Yes,
honeybees.
honeybees. Yep.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, the way that you get more is you split them.
Oh.
So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to show you what some kefir looks like that I've already made, and we're going to put it in a bowl. What you will do is, after you've made your kefir, you're going to put it in a bowl and put it in the refrigerator for about 24 hours, and it ends the fermentation cycle. Yeah. So it sweetens it up just a little bit.
Ask a quick question.
Yeah.
So if you're using kefir you already made, then if I want to start making kefir, do I come to your house and get, you know what I mean? Like, how do I start?
I don't know. I don't want everybody coming over and getting kefir grains.
I mean, would you a friend?
Yeah.
How do you get it?
You find somebody that has kefir grains already, or you can get them online, things like that.
Okay.
Just be careful where you're getting them from and know what you're buying. If you have a friend, that's the best thing. But
so
I definitely don't have enough kefir grains for everybody. So
we'll be doing this today with kefir you already made.
Right,
okay.
right. So this is this has been sitting on my shelf. All that you do when you make kefir is you take the milk, you put the kefir grains in, you let it sit. Whoa,
For how long?
It depends on the weather. If it's a warm climate, in the summer I can do it for a day, 24 hours.
Okay.
Right now it's winter, it's going to be 48 hours or so. But
not long
you
at
get
all.
to know your kefir.
And when it's done. Sort of like bread dough.
Right. So what I'm going to do is I've got a sieve here and a plastic scraper. I don't use metal. From what I've read, you really shouldn't use metal. So this is what I have here. So got my Pampered Chef, my Tupperware. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour my kefir into here, and it's kind of lumpy, you can see.
And that's how it should be, right?
That's how it should be. Yep. So you're going to know your kefir and know that that's the way it should be coming out. So it's slightly juicy, liquidy, but it's got some little chunks in it. So
and
then
it does have sort of a yeasty smell.
Right. It's yogurt, and it's better than yogurt though, because from what I understand, kefir is twice as good in the probiotics as yogurt. So this is so simple, I don't know why more people don't do it.
Well, now that I'm learning how simple it is, I'm wondering myself why I don't do it.
Right. So what we have here is the kefir, and I'm going to run it through the holes here. You can see it coming out. And I'm just going to finish that off. I know it's hard to see for you folks at home.
So the organisms are in everything, I understand, but there's in the grains there are more?
That's what helps it keep growing.
Okay.
Yep. So I just gave kefir grains to a friend of mine, and I'm hoping she's continuing to make her kefir because it's just so simple that
Why not?
I just don't understand why more people don't do it. But
Maybe they're
so
not.
I'm almost to the end,
Oh,
and
they
these
look
are
like cottage cheese.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Or I think that they look like tapioca myself, but you'll see when we get all of this milk off what they look like.
They look like big cottage cheese to me,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So let me just put this over here. So now we've got our kefir here. You can see it's kind of thick. And then these are kefir grains. And so those little kefir grains have grown in the last couple batches that I've done, because I make another batch every 48 hours or so. Those have grown about 3 times what they
Wow.
started with. So if you started, even though it's nice to start with this much, if you started with even one little kefir grain like that, which I may even give you some on the way home for you to take home, but if you just start with that little bit, it's going to keep increasing every time. So
Okay.
it's taking all the sugars from the milk and making it into the kefir again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a new bottle here.
Do you have to sterilize that? You just wash it.
No, that's why
very
it's
easy.
just
Okay,
too
it's very
easy.
easy. All right.
So I'm going to take the kefir grains and put those in the jar. And what we try to do is try to keep as many kefir grains as we can, because
Right.
those are a pretty nice commodity to have. So this will go in the
want me to
fridge.
open this?
Yep. And you can open that and just pour it into about 1 inch from the top. And you can see all that nice cream there. So if she does it slow enough, it'll almost all be cream.
Oh, yeah.
But it's going to be tasty.
So tell me when to stop.
Okay. So when you get to about here.
Is that good?
Yep. And they say to do it about an inch or so from the top, just so that it doesn't come over.
Right.
But it's not like, this isn't like what I'm going to show you with kombucha, where it bubbles up and
Oh, I was gonna
gets
ask if this
higher.
bubbles. It
no,
doesn't.
it doesn't bubble. When you first make it, if your kefir hasn't gotten used to being kefir quite so much, you might see a separation between the whey and the milk, especially if you're using raw milk. But otherwise, it's just going to look just like this. So I didn't put this on tight. You want it to have a little bit of air, so that if there are there's like carbon dioxide. If there's carbon dioxide that's coming up, it has a chance to get out.
Okay.
So I'm going to put this on my shelf, wait 48 hours, and then I'll have my kefir.
And then you can use that for your smoothie.
Right.
Okay,
And
so this kefir that we just filtered, you're going to put that in your fridge for 24 hours before you drink
Yep.
it?
Yep.
One more question.
Yeah.
If, for myself, because I'm not crazy about raw milk, would I then buy whole milk?
Yeah. You can buy whatever. You can buy pasteurized milk and do
But
it.
I wouldn't buy skim milk, because you want some of those fats in there to use the fermentation.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
there's-
might take longer. So you just have to, again, know your kefir and know that.
Okay.
If it's going to have to sit out on the shelf longer, it's going to have to sit out on the shelf. And
Okay.
just, everything is going to be different, and there's no like set rules. It depends on what the weather is like. If
And
it's
do you have
warm
to
or
mix
hot.
it every day, or just
Nope.
let it sit?
No, what I do though is when I do want to check it, I'll put this on tight, and then I'll just flip it over and it'll go blunk, because
Because then you can see the thickness.
right,
Okay. I'm
right.
with you.
If it's still thin, like if I was going to look at this is not kefir.
No, that's milk.
That's definitely milk. So yeah. So
great.
I'll just do that and put it on the shelf. Now I know that we were just talking about kombucha.
Yeah, which I've never had.
That's
seen
another
it.
word.
I think now that you mention it, I've seen it in like health food stores and
Yep.
things in a glass bottle. It looks
Yep.
sort of like iced tea, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and people are like, "Oh, what is that?"
Yeah, no, I never thought about
Yeah,
what it was. I
yeah.
just sort of thought it's a drink.
Right.
I moved on.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, and it is a drink, and it's a lovely drink.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to put this away, and we'll get started making that kombucha.
Great.
All right.
Okay, so now Jody's going to show me what kombucha really is. I'm a little skeptical. We're going to find out. Let's see it.
Well, I have 2 kombuchas to show you. This kombucha here, under the towel, is a little bit younger than this kombucha here. So this kombucha is a fermented drink. It's made out of black tea and green tea. I usually use a mix, but you can use either or whatever. And water and sugar.
And what makes the fermentation?
Under the towel. Okay, under the towel, I hope you're sitting down, but there is a mother in here, or a baby, or a SCOBY, or a mushroom. This little thing on top is what makes the fermentation process
It's not really
happen.
little, I have to say.
No, it's not.
It's quite big.
Yeah, it is. It is. So
Where did you get it?
I got it from a friend of mine.
This is another one of these
This
splitting
lady
things.
deals in mushrooms. No, she's been doing kombucha for, I think she said 7 years.
So it's a particular kind of mushroom?
I guess it is. You know, I need to do more research on exactly like where it comes from, how it originated, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But kombucha has been around for like 2,000 years, and it came back into popularity in like the 60s, probably with the hippie
Right.
stage. You
Yeah.
know, everybody was really into it. But it really is a tasty drink, and it's on the market now. They get like $4 for a jar, maybe even a smaller than a
Smaller
quart
than
jar.
that,
Yeah.
yeah.
$4 for something like this, and you can make this and make 6 or so jars for like $1.50.
Now, one of the benefits to me, I understand with the kefir, you know, it's incredibly healthy. I've got calcium, I've got fats, I've got those probiotics, and what is it with this that's good for me?
This has a lot of antioxidants. It's also a really great detoxifier for your liver. And from what I've read a little bit, it helps prevent cancer. So what it's doing is it doesn't cure things. It helps your body fight things off on its own. So
and
it's
that's
like
due to the
it's like a
fermentation
cheerleader
process.
for your body.
So it's more than just if I made black tea or green tea it myself. It adds to that with the fermentation process from the mushroom, which I have to say is not the mushrooms I find in my yard.
No. And you know, a few shows back, Dave Witchland was talking about mushroom tea, and we tried it. And I think that this is the tea that he was talking about, because when he did that, I was thinking, how could you have mushrooms in tea, and did you cut them all up?
We should ask him, yeah.
We will at some point. So, but I think this is what it was, because it looks like it, and it actually tastes like it when you think back of the flavor that it had.
I'll have to remember,
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you going to do here? How do you make this drinkable? Because I wouldn't want to drink it in that stage.
No. What we have to do is we have to take the mother out.
Ah. You'll be doing that, I assume.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the mother out and put her in here.
Okay.
And the reason that she's laughing is we were talking earlier about putting the mother in the jar.
Yeah.
And it's not really the mothers that we'd want to put in. It's
Right.
the mother-in-laws. No, we love our mother-in-laws.
We do.
But
we actually are very lucky that way.
Yes, we are.
So you're just going to reach in and grab it?
I am going to reach in and grab it.
Does it feel as slimy as it looks?
No, it's soft.
It comes
like
out in one piece.
Yep, it's like a little pancake.
Oh, that is so interesting.
It's like a little
that looks
organism.
Way less gross now.
Yeah. Although when you look at it, it does look kind of gross.
Yeah, but for some reason, I don't know. Now that it's out, it's not quite so bad.
No. So this is now the kombucha. You can drink it right from here.
And how do you know it's ready?
I didn't do that. I had tested it earlier. But what you want to do is
There's still a bit of it in there. Does that matter?
No, that doesn't matter, because we're not gonna drink that. But you're gonna take a straw, and you should have done this beforehand too. I should have mentioned this, because when your kombucha is here and you've got the mushroom on it, what you'll do is you'll take your straw and put it down the side on the, so you can get to the regular kombucha, and just take some kombucha out and bring it out on your plate. Okay. So what you're gonna do is I'm gonna have you do this because my hand is a little bit wet.
Okay. So this is pH paper.
Yep. So we're taking pH paper, and it's supposed to be between 3 and 5 on the pH scale. And so I just...
So here's our little guide.
Yep.
See, on the pH. You probably remember this from high school, right?
Yeah. So you put it in, and it's not going to change much.
No.
So you know that it's below 5.
Yep. Because this only goes
because if it was blue,
5 to 8, right?
Right. If it was blue, you just definitely know that it wasn't something you wanted to do. So now what you can do is you can take a little bit more and taste it. Here you go. No, I'll try it. I've already tasted it, so it is fine. So at this point, it's got a little fizz to it. And again, this one here is not my favorite. My favorite is ginger kombucha. This one I made with organic spiced black tea. And some people might like this.
Yeah.
But this is just not my all-time favorite. Mine is ginger, and that's what
That's what you like to make.
Yeah, that's what we're going to make today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the liquid in here. Hopefully I don't mess it all over the shelf, but we're going to take about a cup or two. Okay, and that's going to be for our next batch. Okay, so we're going to put that one aside. And I am going to pour this into a smaller glass so that we can try it, so you can have a taste of what it really tastes like. Okay, so we'll be right back. So we have our next batch here. Okay, so we'll make that in just a minute. But I would like you to try the kombucha.
I will try it.
Yeah, so I put it in a little bit smaller jar. You can see that this is pretty clear.
Yeah.
But it's darker than the other one that we'll let sit for a couple more days. And
do you drink it out of little wine glasses when you drink it?
we actually do. Well, it's funny because we drink something called noni too. And the noni, when we come home at night, we drink this as our, we drink the noni first in these little glasses. And then we drink a glass of kombucha that is in this glass. Okay, so we have a rocks glass of kombucha.
All right, so let's try it.
Okay,
Cheers.
good luck. Oops.
I gotta chink first.
What do you think?
It definitely tastes like tea. It's quite sweet.
Yep.
You add sugar to it?
You do. Well,
okay.
But the sugar, there's not all that much sugar left
because it's all been...
Right, it's been fermenting. It's
right.
like yeast, where the yeast is eating the sugar. So if you leave this for a couple more days, it will be less sweet.
Oh,
so
I see.
what you do is with kombucha is you let it sit for 7 days or more, 7 to 14 days. And then as it keeps going, it gets less and less sweet. Personally, I like it like this sweet because I don't really like beer and wine and things like that. But and this is not alcoholic at this point. If you left it, it could turn alcoholic. But that's why in some stores they'll take it off the shelves. Like I think Whole Foods has taken it off the shelves because they feel that it's alcoholic. It's really not at this point. But if you left it, it would
become that way.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So
right.
Okay, so let me show you how to make it then.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Yep.
good. So what I did last night was I started some tea. I took a gallon of water, and it's either distilled water. I usually just use filtered water, but I took a gallon of water, put the tea in, and let it steep for a while, and I put ginger in here. This is my favorite. So what they say
ground
to do...
ginger?
I ground it just because I want as much flavor out of it as I can, but they say that you don't have to. So what I did is I took this and let it cool because they say that if you leave it overnight, it'll cool to room temperature.
Yeah.
And that way it's not shocking the mother.
Right.
Don't shock the mother.
Yeah.
So
I mean, she's alive. You want to make sure you keep her that way, right? I mean, that's the whole idea.
It is true. It is true.
I know because when I'm making bread, if I use water it's too hot, I'll kill the yeast.
Right.
Same idea.
Same idea.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and strain it out, get all the ginger out of it. You could probably leave it in, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to take the ginger out, and then we'll be ready to start the next batch.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so we are ready to start making our kombucha now.
Okay.
We have our mother, and we have our clean jar. Don't use soap, because the soap can kill the organism. Yeah.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we've got our tea that actually, I'll say it now, we started with sugar and tea and water, and that was it.
That's it overnight.
Right, it was just a cup of sugar, and that was it. So it's really, really simple.
Okay.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to start another batch. So I'm going to put this in here. Jenna's going to pour the tea in.
And this isn't a strainer. This is just straight pouring it in.
Right, I had strained the ginger out. All right.
And it goes.
Okay, so we're all set with that. So now we have our tea. We're going to take our mother.
But do you need the liquid as well?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to take her out first.
Yep,
Put her
and
in.
put the liquid in too.
Get your hand in there?
Yep. So I'm going to take her out. Now, what does happen is the mother ends up having a baby too. So this one here doesn't look like it had a baby, quite so much.
How would you know?
Because what happens is it'll get a second mushroom growing on top.
Oh.
Yeah. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to pour this in. We don't want to bother the mother too much. I probably should have poured this in first because you don't really want to bother her. But she can go under the tea, so it's not really that big a deal. Okay. So there we go. All right.
How long do you leave this to ferment? You said 7 to 14 days?
7 to 14 days is what we'll do. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a towel, and I use a double towel because you don't want any germs or dust or bacteria, anything going in there. So we're going to put that on, and then I have a rubber band here. So that is going to be all set. What I'm going to do is I'll make a little tag, and I'll put it on
when it will be ready.
Yep, when I made it and when it'll be ready. And then you taste it and decide whether it's at the place where you want it. Because sometimes, according to the heat or the mixture, maybe it'll take longer or shorter amount of time. So just because it's 7 days doesn't mean it's exactly where you want it. It's your personal preference.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
that is kombucha. So
These are some amazing things. Now, the part that's amazing to me too about the kefir is how easy it is to make, and that's something that my kids love.
Right.
And I buy it at the store, and it's expensive.
Yeah.
How easy it is to make that from local milk, really easy, right in your own kitchen.
right.
And so healthy.
It is.
So it's
it is.
great.
And
Thank
you
you
know,
for
those
showing
that you're welcome. You're welcome. And those are the kinds of things that I think we in this day and age need to think about, because we're always thinking about cleansing and making sure that everything is so sterile. But like when you take antibiotics, that kills all the bad things that are going on in your body, but it also kills a lot of the good things.
You need to put them back.
Right. And that's what you're doing by putting these or drinking these. Now, that doesn't mean I want you to go and drink a whole gallon of it.
Right.
You know, be very careful when you're drinking these things. Drink a small amount, because your stomach isn't ready for this sometimes, and so you may get a little stomach ache when you drink
Well,
it.
and also everybody's different with what they like, what they're allergic to, what their body likes.
Right.
We're all a little bit different.
Right.
So, you know, do what you're comfortable with.
Yep.
But it's good to know that in our own kitchens, we can make some of these products really fresh with fewer preservatives and with some local products.
Right.
It's great.
Right. Good.
Thank you.
All right. So we'll see you again in my backyard, but please email us. We'd love to hear from you. So our email address is inmybackyardch8@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you. Give us your ideas. You know, anything in the Monadnock region, bugs, gardening, nature, agriculture.
Cooking with local produce.
Yes,
Whatever it might be.
that's right.
Great.
So yeah, we'll see you in my backyard.